All right, guys, bring it in for a minute. I shared the one with the that's it.
If you want to just go by the way that's the one on the street,
right? Alright. So those past 4 rounds that we've started to do every day here, it's not just to get you extra spark. These are drills. Every drill has a purpose. You're not just doing a drill just for fun. I mean, I guess it is fun, but you're not doing a drill just as another way to get more spark. It's not that. These are drills that are meant to do something. Now, it's sparring, so it's live drills, but I'm not seeing a lot of people use these in the way that they're meant to be used. So the first one is jab sparring. Really just kind of sharpening your tools. When you only have a jab, you tend to use your jab a little differently. We talked about this before. Where it becomes really apparent is in the second round that we started doing this. What's the second round for? Jab versus open?
Defense.
Yeah, to a degree, defense. Why am I drilling you just your jab? Why is it important to me that you know how to use your jab against somebody who has, because you're never going to run into this, you're never going to get in there. Because you use it for everything. The way that you use your jab during the jab versus open drill is how you should use your jab all the time. How many people feel like during those rounds you're just spamming jabs over and over and over, you barely stop? That's how you use your jab. In the amateur ranks, that's how you do it. And you don't, maybe necessarily it's exaggerated in that drill, but you've got to be active with that jab. It's not meant just to hit. It's meant to, I've given you guys the tools so you all understand what your jab is used for now. But when you've got somebody coming at you and he's got all of his tools, one jab's not going to cut it. You need your slip jab, you need your step jab, you need your power jab, you need an up jab, you need to be able to jab from different origins, you need to be able to jab to different targets. You need to be able to jab to post, you need to be able to jab to blind. This is just to keep somebody off you who has all of their tools and you only have one. So what I should see is in the last round when we do open versus open, I should see you taking those lessons and utilizing the jab like that. Use your jab like you do in jab versus open. Please. That's what we're doing this for. But I see you doing it, and everybody's doing exactly what I want them to during the drill, and in the last round. So let's go through this here. The first round, jab versus jab. What's the purpose? What's the purpose of that? It's really just to sharpen your jab. Giving you both an equal number of tools. He's got a jab, you've got a jab. It's to sharpen that tool. So we use it by itself. The second one is teaching you how to utilize your jab, because I'm giving you very difficult conditions to work under. You've got all of your tools, everything at your disposal. I just have a jab, which means I've got to pull a rabbit out of the hat to figure out how to keep you off me, which is how you should use it all the time. The third one, I restrict you even further, and I go cross versus open. What could possibly cross versus open be? I've taken away your jab, so your fast punch is gone.
Counter striking?
Counters, sure. It's your ability to close the door and find angles. If you're just going to spam your cross, it's too slow. I mean, not to anybody specifically, just a cross in and of itself is too slow. You're not setting up a cross with a cross, you're setting up a cross with a jab, right? Now you've lost your setup ability and you're just throwing a cross. If you're not using your feet and taking little angles, throwing a cross as soon as he comes across the threshold of your workspace, that's timing. Has nothing to do with speed. You see him crossing that threshold, throw it. Does it matter necessarily if you contact him? If you make contact, you have to score on those punches?
No, not necessarily.
Right. Does it give you the same amount of pause whether somebody fakes a good cross there or actually throws it? It gives you the same amount of pause. You're like, oh, it's coming. That's all you need, it's just that little bit of a hesitation. So you should be, as you go through it, your jab should be sharp, you've done jab versus jab. Your jab should be versatile, and we use it a lot and frequent because we do jab versus open. Your feet should be a little bit more responsible because we're doing cross versus open. We can throw that cross, take a little angle and lead the other way. It should also help your timing when somebody comes in the front door. Does that make sense to everybody? And the last round, what's the last round open versus open for?
Put it all together.
To put it together. Honestly, at this point what I'm seeing is you guys have a lot of fun. It's touch sparring, so touch sparring is always fun. But you're not carrying the lessons from one to the next, to the next, to the next. When you get to open sparring, you can see everybody go, woohoo! Because this is fun. But it's not just a matter of woohoo. You should have been writing mental notes, round 1, round 2, round 3, and gone, listen, if all you can do, and I don't actually think this is necessarily a bad thing, you've done all 4 rounds, say one thing stuck with you. One thing stuck with you the very first round, the jab versus jab. You found a new way to really screw with your opponent's jab. Forget everything else. You had all those little, but that's the one that stuck with you today. If you get one lesson from all those 4 rounds, maybe just concentrate on that. When you come to the open rounds, say, I'm going to really utilize that and see if I can attack his jab and bring it down, whatever your lesson is. I learn to change the way he moves in on me depending on how I throw my jab. Maybe that's how maybe the lesson you took is you really felt that timing. He stepped on the threshold, boom, you shut the door on him. Maybe that's what you take. You're not necessarily going to take more than 3. But if you can take 1 and apply it in round 4, do this every day. So it's not like you're not going to get lots of practice doing this. If you take 1 lesson and then actively try and deploy it in the 4th round there, that's what that's for. It's not just the fun time. I mean, it is the fun time, obviously, open versus open. But when you get to the fun round, you got to remember you're in the fun round, purchased all the frustrations of all the difficult rounds that I just gave. Anybody think that cross versus open is a particularly fun round?
I do.
Yeah.
Well, you don't mind getting hit because you're fucking weird. Normal people don't like getting hit that much. And you will, you're going to get hit more when it's CrossFit, but it's teaching you lessons. So you're buying your ability to have the fun at the end by doing the work at the beginning. Take a lesson, apply it. That's all I'm looking for. Were you guys, anybody have any lessons that they learned today from any of the 3? Something that stopped you, oh shit, that worked.
Stepping on people's feet.
I've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
I
Well,
lift my feet.
I do it too.
Anybody learn anything from any of those first 3 rounds?
Found I could use a cross almost like a jab if I turn into it while I'm moving. So
Yeah.
like while I'm slipping, I could turn and then just stay more squared up,
Yep.
and then it's way faster.
He punched me right in the mouth.
Right in my own mouth. So when it came time for the 4th round, did you use that?
No, because I switched back to being more bladed.
Right. Because you switch back to being less versatile. So the lessons that you learn, carry them on. So we're going to do 1 more round, open versus open. And I want to see you try and deploy something that worked for you in the first 3 rounds. Whether it's the use of your jab, the use of your cross, the timing, whether it's an angle on the way out to keep you safe when you just did a cross, or during open jab sparring, maybe you learned something there, maybe something worked well for you there. Experiment with that in the open versus open. This is your time to experiment. It's light sparring. If it works, if it doesn't work at all and you get beat up, light sparring is the place to do it because it doesn't hurt. I mean, hurt your heart.
I should have worn gloves.
All right, let's do 1 more.
I was like, these are newer gloves too. I just keep the shit out of my gloves, so.
Jesus.
I use them around a year old.